The largest protest in Egypt's history, take two. 2.5 years ago, the Egyptian people rose up against their leader, Mubarak, and the Arab Spring swept through Egypt and they got rid of Mubarak. They used social media. They depended on the military to stay out and to help on both sides to keep the peace. Succeeded. Mubarak's gone. Now, our current president was criticized for supporting those people seeking a form of democracy over the dictator who had been a friend to us in our country's interests. But the Arab Spring happened. He was gone. There was a bit of military rule, and then the people had the votes, and they voted in Morsi. They're not happy with him. Morsi's done some things. He was saying he's going to stay in power for longer than he's supposed to have. He was a legitimacy, and so the people are upset. So what do we have? The largest protest in Egypt's history, similar to the one before. Morsi says, I'm not going anywhere. Now, our president has been criticized during that time period before this for allowing the aid, the financial aid, to go to the country of Egypt and the fighter jets that have been going to the country of Egypt for decades. Now, they're saying, well, it's controlled by the Muslim Brotherhoods and radicalist Islamists and terrorists. Now, the Muslim Brotherhood does have a big control. Whether they're terrorists or not is a different story. But they're the duly elected government of Egypt. So we should be continuing to do business, because the reason we did business with Egypt in the first place, is because of Israel. For decades, we have been working with Israel and Egypt to keep the peace. That's why we continue to do this. But now with this new protests, the protesters want Morsi to step aside. He's like, no, I'm not going anywhere. You can't make me go anywhere. So the wild card in this, of course, is the Egyptian military, who has told both sides, settle this or we'll settle it for you. Now here's the problem. They started down a democratic path. They didn't like what they got, and now they're trying to change it, but they're trying to change it in less than the democratic process. Now you could say Morsi is also going against that too. A lot of the protesters are saying, well, we applaud the military for helping, but there's also a fear that the military would just say, okay, we're going to take over and run this place. Now, they did run it for a while until elections came. The president's being criticized again, this time because he is supposedly the one who put Morsi in place, although it was the Egyptian people who voted and put him in place. And some of the Egyptian protesters are just blaming the president because he's an easy target. What did the president have to say about this? What did he say to the people of Egypt, to the president, to the military? Here's what President Obama said. Morsi, listen to the protesters. Make some changes. Work with them. To the protesters, he said, keep it peaceful. Try to work this out. And to the military, he said, no coups. Don't do a military coup. It's not going to be good. But the president's still going to be criticized for this. But I want to bring something else up. People are criticizing this while we're in Egypt. They can't do democracy. They can't do freedom. Seems to me they can. Was our transition so smooth? We didn't have 2 overthrows, I understand that, but it wasn't simple. And now you have people who have been under the thumb of a despot for ages, working these details out. Instead of using this strife among the people of another country and them trying to find self-government, instead of using that as a stick to beat a head over the political opponent you disagree with, in this case President Obama, how about we work together to try to encourage a democratic or more freedom outcome? How about we're so fearful of the Muslim Brotherhood, which this seems to be heading to push the Muslim Brotherhood out, how about we encourage, rather than write them off, throw Obama over there and say he's part of the problem, and just say it's terrible. We shouldn't get in there and change things, but we should be encouraging them. And cutting off financial aid because some people in the country don't like us is ridiculous, especially since that aid has been and will continue to be helping with the Egypt-Israel relationship. Egypt, go ahead and protest. Let's do it right. Let's not make it bloody. Let's not let a military coup happen. And Morsi, listen to your people. Find a way to make it work. And for folks back home, it's much more complicated than, Obama's helping Muslims. Diplomacy is a multifaceted thing, and it has to be worked carefully. All right, you can hear us, Another Voice with Eric and Friends, on our podcast, which we post on Monday nights at canIGetAWordIn.com. You can go to Another Voice with Eric and Friends on Facebook, comment and like us there. The YouTube channel here at Be Another Voice, and on Twitter at Be Another Voice. We'd love to hear from you, what you have to say, and keep an eye out on what's going on. Go to our Facebook page and look up the event Fight the Power Company. See what that's all about. Until next time, get out in your community and make a difference.